How many times do I have to say it? I'm not associated with any Baptist church. Excuse me. I'm actually not associated with any Christian denomination right now. It's my job to get Christianity under one roof. But this right here is my testimony, and I'm going to give it to you in less than 1 minute. And then I'm going to give you the long version. So get out your sleeping pills and your pillows. Let me give you the short version. I was born a hardcore atheist. My middle name is Skeptic. Even before the Cosmic Skeptic was born. By the time I was 33, I converted. And now I've been a Christian at least 35 years. And now, for some crazy reason, God's calling me to try and get Christianity to get under one roof. And apparently it has something to do with all the new generation of Christian warriors, but I'm not new generation. I'm here to get on top of the new generation. Make sure they get it right. So you just heard my short testimony. Now here's my long testimony. I was born a hardcore atheist in an atheist family. I was a thief and consequently a liar from the age of 3 with no guilt. You know, when I was 3 or 4, it was not a controversy for a 3 or 4-year-old kid to walk unescorted into a grocery store, buy a bag of Milky Ways, spend $10, get change, and walk out without any Karens or controversy. Or that's how safe the United States was when I was that old. Now, maybe that's a blessing, but I was still an atheist from then on. Did all kinds of bad things all my life, you know, like most of you do, atheist or not. So, get this. My father would not allow religion in the house. We didn't have a Bible in the house. We didn't even have the simple graven imagery of a cross on the wall. He would chase away anything that was religious that came to the door, including Christmas carolers. See, this is how hardcore it was. In fact, get this too. When I was 8 and a half, I was in the Cub Scouts. And my little troop, pack, whatever it was, we got invited to Easter Sunday service. And of course, my father had to let me go because he was in the military. He had to be conflicted. His son, semi-military, Cub Scout, got invited to Easter Sunday church. So that's the first and only time as a child I went to church. Weird thing about that is another day later, or might have been the same day, I saw that movie starring Charlton Heston called The 10 Commandments. And I'm going to tell you right now, Scripture is the firewall to fraud. That movie is amazingly accurate up until the title of the movie, The 10 Commandments. And sooner or later, I'm going to get into that in my ministry. Actually, I'm going to get into it a lot. Because it's time for Christianity to convert, to be under one roof. Now, let me get back to my being an atheist. One time, as a child, church. The next time, I was 21. I was in the military. I was in Europe. I went to midnight mass with my German relatives on Christmas Eve. The only other time I went to church up until the age of 22, 2 times. So, you see, I was rolling along pretty hardcore there. So around the time I was 25, 26, I met a woman. She invited me to church. She gave me a couple of pamphlets. I kind of got the gist of what Christianity is about. Went to Bible study on Wednesdays, church on Sunday, Sunday evening. I picked up this little pamphlet of one-sentence prayers. And wow, what a gold mine that was, because they love to pray out loud in Christianity. I saw that as my chance to get in real close with this woman who I thought was going to be my wife. You know, she got stolen away by Kenneth Copeland later, and that's another story. But anyway, as things went along and the relationship ended, my dream job showed up. I always wanted to be a musician playing on the road for a living, and that's what I got. I got it. Somehow it happened. Just as my relationship with church and that lady was ending. So, guess what? Here I am on the road as a musician. Somehow our little band, because I'm really good at it, I was a bass player, singer, and not my bass playing, but my singing ability to sing backups just like the record, got me these high-paying contracts in the highest-paying gigs in the biggest nightclubs and the biggest hotels in the biggest downtown all over America. So all I had to do was get on an elevator and go down to the nightclub or whatever it was, stand and play for 4 hours, and go back to my hotel room. You can get lazy as the... Think about it. You know, this is the pattern of living back then. I get up at 2 in the afternoon. I go down to the buffet, come back up, go back to sleep till 8, you know, get dressed, get ready, go down, play the gig at 9, stops at 12 or 1. So with all that time on my hands, guess what I did? I became a theologian, hardcore. I was a hardcore atheist. Now I was going to be a hardcore theologian. I was going to get into religion, see what it's about. I looked into every religion, every text of every religion that had a text. I ended up specializing in Islam. Wasn't even paying attention to Christianity. About a year and a half into knowing what Islam is about and getting bored, God bless David Wood. He is the ultimate expert, in my opinion, on Islam. He's the ultimate Christian expert on Islam. I'm not so sure about the Christianity part, but man, he knows. I think he and I were like doing Islam when we were doing Islam together, but not together, if you know what I mean. Anyway, getting back to that. About the time I was getting bored with it, Al-Kitab just kept distracting me. Al-Kitab in Islam is called the children of the book, the Bible. So, there I am, going back to the Bible. Going back to the Bible and finding out that it is the firewall to all fraud, including Christianity, including the denominations of Christianity that profess to believe it. And it's all at the very beginning of the New Testament. You know, now that I'm a hardcore Christian, it's beyond me how you can read the New Testament, Matthew and Mark, and have it down so solid that you're confused by the time Paul. How do you get confused by the time Paul and James and the rest come around, the letters? How does that happen? Because you keep forgetting who the way, truth, and life is. As often as he said it, and as often as Christianity says it, why don't they use him as the instruction and correction? That's what he is. That's what God is. Now, this is supposed to be my testimony from being an atheist, but now you know, I'm stuck. I'm hooked. God converted me. He called me. And he called me to do the hardest thing there is. Get Christianity under one roof. Oh my goodness. I know there's help out there, and I know we're called the New Christian Warriors, but I'm not young. I just know this is important. Now, be looking for my pre-flight briefings for all those of you who are new to Christianity. This is so important. I was buffaloed. God bless you.